Tethered to the rough bark was a dog, thin, covered in dirt, with wide, terrified eyes. A thick leather belt wrapped tightly around his neck, attached to a heavy chain, the kind that could easily hold a bear. No one knew who had done this or why. But one thing was clear: the dog, whose name would soon be Stuart, had been treated cruelly. He had been left alone, tied to the tree, waiting for an end he could not understand. When they tried to approach, Stuart growled, low and menacing, then cowered in the corner of the shelter once they brought him in. His body shook with fear, his eyes averted. He was broken, afraid of any human touch. The officers had to leave him alone, hoping he would calm down in time. But when the shelter staff returned the next day, Stuart hadn't moved. The food bowls went untouched. He didn't even acknowledge their presence. It was as if he had given up. After hours of failed attempts to coax him, they made the difficult decision to transport him to the vet. It was clear Stuart had been through too much, and even the thought of someone coming near his neck sent him into a panic. It took great care to get him into the car, but once there, they knew they had to remove the belt. The procedure was slow, delicate, and painful. The anesthesia took hold, and the vet carefully cut away the leather belt. As it fell to the ground, something extraordinary happened. Stuart's entire body seemed to relax, like a weight had been lifted. It was as if the belt had held not just his body, but his spirit captive. When he finally woke up, he was a different dog. The terror had melted from his eyes, and what replaced it was something almost unrecognizable: hope. For the first time since they had found him, Stuart wagged his tail, tentatively at first, then faster and faster, as if he couldn't stop. The volunteers brought him toys, balls, squeaky bones, stuffed animals, and to everyone's amazement, Stuart played. He didn't hide, he didn't cower, he pounced and nipped, as if he had forgotten what it felt like to be a puppy. But it wasn't just the toys. Stuart began to seek out the people who had saved him, his eyes no longer clouded with fear, but full of gratitude. Every time someone entered his room, he'd wag his tail furiously, jumping up to greet them, asking for love, for connection, for the care he had never known. If you liked the video, put like and subscribe to the channel, where you will find a lot of interesting things.